Welcome to Backpage Blues. I'm joined by Charlie the Hurricane Skillen from the Mail Online.
How are you, Raw?
Yeah, very well, thank you. Fine. And I have some good news for you. Charlie will be back in the studio tomorrow. We're going to have an extra long version of Backpage Blues. We're going to be joined by a few people on Skype. So make sure you stay tuned for that one. It should be good. Charlie, what is the Mark Hughes?
I love that. That's really good.
That's my new thing.
Nice one. I need to get a thing. Well, look, everyone has been on at me at Twitter all week. Who are Chelsea going to buy? Who are Chelsea going to buy in January? I said last week that I think the last two fixtures, Everton and West Brom, I think those have a key impact on who we're going to buy. Now, although, look, the game against Everton was an amazing moment. John Terry scoring in the 98th minute was one of my favourite moments at Stamford Bridge for a long time. But in the cold light of day, 2 points from those 6 is not too clever. Gus Hiddink has recognised the need to bolster the squad. I don't think, I've said this lots of times, I don't think they'll go mad because, you know, the squad is in for a big reshape in the summer, but the one thing they definitely want is a striker.
Right. So somebody like Pato, for example?
Yeah, I mean, that's the name that's been most heavily linked. Look, let's be fair, it's a real gamble. It's almost as much of a gamble as Falcao was, and we all know that's turned out.
Yes.
You know, he is obviously very talented youngster at AC Milan. Chelsea were big admirers of him. He had terrible trouble with injuries. He's been playing in Brazil. He's been playing okay in Brazil. His agent's desperate to find him a new club. His agent's been putting a lot of feelers out for him in the Premier League. Now, Pato, we reported this week, has been talking to our Brazilian contingent. He's been talking to people like Willian, who've been sort of selling him Stamford Bridge.
It's always the way, isn't it? We have this so often that some players are whispering. It's the sort of when footballers become Lady Macbeth and start whispering in the ear of their. No, it's what happens, though, isn't it?
That was a nice cultural reference.
Thank you very much. It was due, wasn't it? It's
not usually the best we get is only fools, isn't it? Yeah, you know, I think it will still be touch and go whether Pato comes to Chelsea. They're also looking at people like Carlos Bacca, who we talked about last week, I believe. Yeah. You know, a lot of this hinges on the fitness of Costa and Remy. Costa, you know, is still a doubt for the Arsenal game, big doubt. Fortunately, he didn't have a break of the leg, but I think it's a bruised tibia.
Yeah, a bruised shin. With all due respect, you know, I know that Costa is a warrior. I know he's not the type to feign injury or go down when it's not due. A bruised shin sounds all right to me.
Yeah, which is why he's in contention for the Arsenal game. Now, the other one I've been getting a lot of questions about is Patrick Bamford and his.
He scored a couple of goals against Rangers, didn't he?
Yeah. QPR, as per usual for Chelsea QPR, Chelsea put QPR to the sword in the under-21s on Tuesday, and Dave
Cox, that one was for you, by the way. Thank you.
And Bamford scored twice. Now, usually, if a player was to play in the under-21s, it would count as playing for a club, which would mean Bamford couldn't go back.
So he'd be a Chelsea player for till the end of the season.
Yes, but this was a friendly, so it wasn't an official game. Bamford could still be out on loan. But Gus Hiddink was watching. It was a very strong under-21 lineup. You had people like Baba Rahman playing. He's obviously, you know, in the senior squad. You had Loftus-Cheek playing. Yeah. So it was definitely good news for him. Whether it means that he's going to be part of the Chelsea squad, I'm not so sure, but it's definitely a step in the right direction for him.
Thinking of our season and the way it's gone and what our future aspirations are short term. Yeah. A strike force consisting of Diego Costa, Loic Remy and Patrick Bamford seems fine. You definitely stay up with those three leading the line. You may win a cup with those three leading the line.
I mean,
and you know, we're not going to qualify for the Champions League if we had Messi and Ronaldo up front. So
no, that's true, and you know, I think they're happy to, unless things take a desperate turn. I think Chelsea are pretty happy that they're not going to go down. Abramovich does not want to spend money this window. I don't believe. I think he wants to put faith in a new manager. Yeah, in fact, we reported last week, I think, that if Chelsea were to buy a striker, it would necessitate the departure of another one.
Right.
That might.
So is this what's fueling the rumours of Remy to Tottenham or Remy to Villa or Newcastle?
Yeah, Remy wants to play football. Remy's desperate, obviously, to get in the France squad for the Euros. But the other big concern with Remy is his injuries. You know, from what I can read into it, Hiddink's really unconvinced that Remy's fit to play any stretch of games. Right. So it's definitely a situation that needs remedying.
Okay. So that's kind of thinking about the forward line. Taking it back a little bit, there's some, in my opinion, good news regarding Branislav Ivanovic.
Yeah, I mean, this has had a...
I'm about to get a load of grief. I can just see how these comments are going to go.
We'll watch them go, just down there.
Oh, dickhead. That's how it goes,
yeah, and that's just the gear. Abramovich has given Ivanovic personal assurances that he will be getting a new deal at Chelsea. Obviously, Chelsea have got this policy they don't offer more than 1 year to over 30-year-olds. There's a whole host of clubs interested in Ivanovic, despite some of his performances this year. And Ivanovic is actually now free to talk to foreign clubs because he's in the last. He's over a certain age, which is 24, I think, and he's entering the last 6 months of his contract.
Right.
So
is that the rule? Okay.
yeah. So he's now free to talk to foreign clubs, and he could sign for any of them. But
he's a Chelsea man, though. I imagine that given his way, he'd stay at Chelsea.
Oh, he is desperate to stay at Chelsea. He's settled in London. His family's settled in London. He's obviously been a part of the furniture at the club for quite a while.
Yeah.
And from
he's great to have around the club because it was the departure of players like Lampard, Drogba, Cech that we saw. I don't think that this form this season would have happened with those boys around.
I bet my house on it not happening.
Exactly. So players like Ivanovic are the next crop of that, aren't they? You need him around the club. Whether you need him in the first team is up for debate, and arguably, at the moment, yes. The form up until the last 6 weeks, probably not.
Yeah.
But you need him around the club.
Yeah. And he's certainly going to be at Chelsea next year from everything we're hearing at the minute.
Okay, great. Do you know what I wanted to ask you, Charlie? This is not strictly Chelsea related, but please bear with me, just because I don't know enough about this situation. So when I get my pal who works for the Daily Mail in, I like to grill him. What's going on with Barcelona and Madrid? What's the situation there? And more importantly, how does that ban that's ensued affect Chelsea?
So it's the two Madrid clubs, Real and Atletico.
Yeah.
Now, it's huge news. Basically, Real Madrid and Atletico Madrid, at the minute, are banned from signing players either next summer and next January. They can still sign players. Technically, they can still sign players now.
Right.
And Real Madrid have actually already signed.
It just snuck up on me. Where did that come from?
You're right, pal.
I didn't even know I needed to sneeze until it happened. Sorry, that just completely took me by surprise.
Let's wrap this up before he keels over.
I was listening to you so intently that I wasn't aware that I needed to sneeze. It just completely took me by surprise. I'm very sorry. I think I just blew my friend who's on the camera. I just blew his ears off as well, and the thing with really loud noise.
I tend to have that effect on people.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I'm allergic to you. I'm sorry. I was listening. Carry on.
What are we talking about now? John Spencer or something?
No, carry on, please.
Yeah, so at the minute, they're banned from buying players in the summer or next January. Now, the feeling is that they're going to appeal that and they're going to take it to the Court of Arbitration for Sport, which would necessitate that ban being suspended so they could buy players this summer. Now, that is absolutely key.
So what they're going to do is they're going to do what Barcelona did, which is
is
exactly what I've written Barcelona.
Precisely.
So they're going to appeal it so it gets delayed,
yeah.
Sort themselves out in one window, and therefore when it gets to the window where they're banned, they won't care anyway because they will have preempted.
Well, yeah, that's the initial thought. In fact, we are sort of hearing that Real Madrid might not actually appeal it because the president, the new presidential term will start the following year, so he might just take the hit. So next summer he can actually buy a big Galactico. But that still remains to be seen. Now the effect on Chelsea is that obviously, Hazard to Real Madrid is definitely the most likely move to happen out of anything. In fact, if this ban wasn't in place, I'd certainly put money on Hazard being a Real Madrid player next year. Obviously, if they can't buy players, that won't be the case. Still doesn't mean I think Hazard will stay at Chelsea.
In terms of living my dream, I've got my eyes on Gareth Bale. Would it have an impact on that? Can players leave the club?
Well, they certainly won't. They certainly won't be giving up their best players.
I see. So it will affect us for that.
Well,
right?
yeah. I mean,
they can't reinforce them.
And to be fair, I'm not sure Chelsea would be first in the queue for Gareth Bale were he to leave Real Madrid.
Oh, really?
No, I think Man United certainly
okay.
would be very high up.
Disappointing.
And Atletico as well. Obviously, we talked about Costa back to Atletico a lot. I don't think it's certain that Thibaut Courtois will stay at Chelsea. And by far the most interesting, probably for us, is that if Diego Simeone can't buy any players in the summer,
will he leave?
Yeah, exactly.
Could be a new manager at Chelsea.
There you go.
Let us know what you think of that. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please click the subscribe button and comment below. Let us know what you think of all the points raised. got any blues?